And Lord, we just thank you for every business that's represented here. We thank you for Lapeer. Thank you for taking care of us the way you have, Lord, and it's going to be better and better as the future goes on. Lord, we just thank you for Lapeer days. Put your hands on that throughout this weekend, Lord, and coming up and next weekend as we in this week as we run through and just have a great time this weekend. And Lord, I just pray for the empty buildings in town, Lord, that they get filled. We're getting more and more, and things are starting to look good. And we just thank you for this time together this morning. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Wells. Okay, then we're going to bring up Nita Payne from the Lapeer Chamber of Commerce for news.
Good morning, good morning. I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. We have some new members who I would like to announce. This morning I'm going to kind of keep this brief because it's going to be a very, very busy agenda this morning. We're really packed. So please, Mike Newell, Sir Pro, here, one of my ambassadors, is a timekeeper, so please be mindful of him. Byron, don't you look that way. Anyway, I want to welcome new members. Dr. Stephen Sheridan, ankle and foot specialist, and he is also going to be speaking today. He is here with us, new member, welcome. HD Construction, Brian Hall, Maurice's, Melinda Bradley, and Motion Machine Company, Danny Walters, all new members who I would like to recognize this morning. And obviously, just a reminder, free parking downtown all weekend for Lapeer Days. We've got lots of neat things going on, some great entertainment, lots of free things for kids and families to do, and obviously all the entertainment is free. So that time of year, we hope everybody comes down and spends a little bit of time at the festival this weekend. And with that said, I'm not going to go on anymore because Lapeer Days was founded 112 years ago, so everybody knows it's that weekend. And I will probably be leaving a little bit early because I've got things to do. It's setup day, it's a busy day. So with that said, I want to introduce our first guest speaker this morning, the Honorable Judge Byron Konschuh, good friend, and has done a lot to contribute to our community, so I'm very proud to be able to introduce him today.
Thank you, Nita.
You're welcome.
I'm low tech, so we won't have a PowerPoint to try to watch it. We need to figure out how to get it going. I want to try to capsulize in the 20 minutes that I have some of the highlights of 255 Clay Street, which is our county complex, and some of the things that are going on, bring you up to speed in, I guess, the events of my career, where I'm at, where I fit into the court system, answer the questions you have about the court system. About this time last year, I was sitting in my office preparing, as I always do, for the major trials, spending every spare minute I had getting ready for the Frank Choate trial, the Marie Warren murder. And by November, we're in the middle of the trial, and I found out that Judge Higgins was retiring, and I knew that I was interested in vacancies, so as soon as the trial was over, I'm scrambling around and getting my resume together, get letters of support, and all those good things that go along with trying to get an appointment or get any new job. And I was lucky enough to be granted an interview and a second interview. The first interview is interesting because you go before the state Judicial Qualifications Committee, which is approximately 30,000 lawyers. Actually, there's about 25 or 30 lawyers around the table, literally, which extended as far as you can imagine 30 seats go. So when they ask you a question and you look to the left to answer, it makes eye contact with this attorney over here, but you're also looking to try to make eye contact with this attorney over here, so you feel like a little bit of a bobblehead. But I luckily was granted a second interview, and I know that the chamber doesn't like to talk politics, but unfortunately when you're in an elected position, politics is the nature of the job, and I try to stay out of politics as much as I can, to try to let my work ethic and the community efforts that I'm engaged in do the speaking for me. And I thought I had the qualifications and background, and that's one of the things you learn as a politician. If you're someone who doesn't like talking about themselves, you better learn how to do that pretty quickly, because if you can't promote yourself to the community or the voters. So I thought I had good qualifications. I also thought that I had good community contacts, and luckily the governor, who has a business background, agreed with me and appointed me to the position. I also know, and I'm always conscious in the back of my mind, that every activity I'm engaged in, I'm being judged by my community, so I try to be that role model and be a community leader, because the position of prosecutor and judge are community leader positions. So I'm hoping that actions speak louder than words, and so far it's worked out in my career. And I recently found out from Kevin Daly, who was voted the best of the best by the county press every year, that this year I was announced as the best of the best by the county press. So I think my family and my 2 friends were voting for me. It was March 25th when I got a call from the governor's office in the morning saying, can you take a call from at about 1 o'clock today? And I'm thinking, well, it's a Monday, I got docket, and I'm like, the governor's office? Yes, I can take this call. And so it was kind of neat that at 1 o'clock, Governor Snyder himself called and told me that I was going to, from that point forward, be called Judge or Your Honor, which took me a lot of time to get used to. And then he asked me, do you want to start on April 1st or April 8th? I'm thinking March 25th, April 1st, that's like 1 week. I'll take April 8th. April Fool's Day didn't sound like a good day to start this career anyway. So April 8th in the morning, I was still prosecutor, handling pretrials and those types of things. Apparently, the governor was appointed at noon, so all his appointments are effective as of noon. So I got sworn in at noon, put on the robe, took the bench in the afternoon, and people in the building are like, wait, didn't I just see it? No, okay. But that's how quickly this happened. It wasn't like I got elected in November and got to take over in January. I have found that I've become acclimated to that name and this role, mostly because as of April 8th, I've spent pretty much every breathing moment trying to learn civil law and family law, coming from 23 years of criminal law, which was not a big shocker to me because I remembered some of that stuff from law school, but I spent almost every weekend in April, May, and June in the office reading through files this thick because I didn't think it was fair to families in family law that I only knew what was going on in the most recent motion. I thought I should understand some of the history of the case before making a decision. So on docket days, I kind of looked through the files and I'm like, okay, change of custody, you got to do this, I can appoint that, open the next file, hope it's change of custody, oh dang, it's parenting time. Now I got to research parenting time or child support or any of those other issues that come up. In replacing Judge Higgins, my responsibilities were, I was appointed as a circuit judge, and the lines between the judicial positions are blurring now as the governor's office is reducing the size of the bench. I might have mentioned at one of the other breakfasts that the governor is reducing judgeships by about 45 across the state and doing it by attrition. So whichever judge in that community where they decide to shrink the bench retires, that's the vacancy that doesn't get filled. So this December, Judge Conley was up for re-election. He was term limited out, or not term limited, but age limited out. Once you're past your 70th birthday in Michigan, you can't run for a judicial position. So he was age limited out, so his position is vacant. So we have also an evolving process in the circuit court where we now don't have circuit judges, probate judges, and also district judges, but we have what's called the family law, or family court. And so we're looking at, the divorce cases and abuse and neglect, and also juvenile cases kind of tie in because there are children involved with families. And so for all intents and purposes, Judge Higgins and Judge Scott were the family court. Judge Holoka handles some divorces, but he primarily handles felony criminal cases and civil cases where the amount of controversy is over $25,000. The district court, Judge Barnard and Judge Conley's position handled any civil cases under $25,000 and all the criminal cases at the district court level. So that means misdemeanor cases from start to finish. Misdemeanors are anything with a penalty of 1 year or less. Felony cases at the preliminary stage, and then they're bound over to circuit court and they go to Judge Holoka. So Judge Barnard is still doing all the criminal, and I've inherited the landlord-tenant, which you'll hear more about later, and civil cases in district court. So my docket on Monday is juvenile cases in the morning, some support cases in the morning, family court in the afternoon. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I set bench trials for any of those cases that don't settle. And unfortunately, I have to do a lot of trials for attorneys to be able to predict what my decision is, and I have to get the experience so I know where I'm going on issues of spousal support, child support, custody, parenting time. The best thing a judge can do is be consistent and be predictable, but I have to go through that process first so I know where I'm going, they know where I'm going, they can predict it to their clients, and I think in the long run that will help enhance settlements in the future, and I'll actually get some sleep. But at this point in time, I'm doing the best I can to get up to speed and keep the docket moving and give people a reasonable day in court, a fair day in court, and try to obtain justice for them. Then, so I have the docket on Monday, trials Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Friday, I bounce downstairs to district court and handle the landlord-tenant in the morning and the civil cases in the afternoon. And those that can't settle, I have to squeeze a place in the middle of the week, and we do some trials in district court. I've only had a couple jury trials scheduled, and I love jury trials. That's where I came from, being the prosecutor trying cases. Unfortunately, they keep settling them, and I don't twist their arms. I'm happy to do them, but I know the day will come and we'll get some jury trials going. But as I learn the process, and as judges who are elected in November get to go to new judge school orientation, the state puts on a fantastic program in December, January, and unfortunately the last session was March 20th and 21st, I guess, and I was appointed the 25th, so I missed all the new judge school stuff, and the next new judge school is offered after the election next November. But I did go to a couple of sessions where I learned a little bit about the landlord-tenant diversion program that we're going to talk about this morning, and a few other things that certainly assist and help me make contacts at the state level with other judges who may face similar issues. I did want to talk a little bit about my community involvement because it overlaps my job, I feel. Some of the things I did have to give up as a potential conflict of interest when I became a judge. Clearly, I'm not going to be the chair of the Police Chiefs Association anymore. I'm not on the executive committee of the Republican Party. I'm also going blind, so I have to read my notes. I am no longer the president of the Child Advocacy Center, which I think is an incredible organization, but the Child Advocacy Center interviews kids who are abused, and in the event that one of them becomes a witness in my court, then there's a potential conflict there, plus the forensic interviewers may be qualified as experts, and again, I want to avoid the appearance of a conflict, so it doesn't mean I don't support the Child Advocacy Center, I'm just not a board member anymore. I'm still on the board of Growth and Opportunity, Mentors for Kids, Stone Soup Food Pantry, the 100 Club. I'm a member of Lapeer County Multi-Purpose Collaborative Body, Fight Crime, Invest in Kids at the state level, and Families Against Narcotics, and the Family Literacy Center. I believe that Family Literacy Center, as you've heard me speak many times before, does a fantastic job in helping people read better and have better literacy skills. I feel if people have those skills, they're more likely to be employed, more likely to stay out of trouble. And if you're willing to support the Family Literacy Center this weekend, Churches Lumber, Row Inc., and Rickard and Denny's office, they've donated their parking lots to the Family Literacy Center, and for a small donation, you can park there all weekend, get a little ticket, and go back. If you come and go, they'll let you come back to the parking lot. So we appreciate churches supporting family literacy and allowing us to use their parking lot in Row Incorporated and Rickard and Denny. So if you come down here this weekend, think about supporting family literacy. And the other way that, there are several ways that this job ties in with some of the things that I'm doing, but in the juvenile division, when we have kids that are on probation, I'm not going to have them collect money at the parking lot, I'm not going to have them drive any cars, but the probationers in district court that have to, or in juvenile court, that have to do some community service time, if you do park in those parking lots, you'll see several kids assisting you in park here because Jim Smith, who's our board member, volunteer overseeing this whole thing, he wants to make sure we pack as many cars in there as we can, so they're going to be young people parking and making sure that every spot is used, and those are juvenile court probationers who are doing community service. So that's one of the powers, I guess, that I have as a judge, is I can say you're going to do community service and you're going to do this for that organization. So if you have things that you need probationers or nonviolent offenders, low-risk offenders to assist you in community efforts, let me know, and I can kind of direct some of your direction. I have that authority. That's one of the things that I also learned as prosecutor. You are knowledgeable, you have advocacy skills, you're trying to get people to persuade them to your position. As soon as I had the title of judge, I'm saying, well, we should probably do it this way. And people are running. I'm like, where are you going? Well, you said you got to do this. I'm like, whoa, wait. I was just talking out loud. So actually people listen when you're a judge. I had to learn that real quickly. Be careful what I'm saying, because if I say it, they're going to do it. That's a little different than being that advocate. So in your packet, you should find a whole bunch of stuff that I've given to you. Some of them have a little bit potential expiration dates on them, because these pamphlets that you'll find in your package have a photograph of me on the back as a prosecutor, and they're paid for by drug forfeiture funds. So they're only dated in that I'm no longer the prosecutor. The information in them is still extremely current. And some of the issues I face as a prosecutor now as a judge are the same issues I see on this side of the bench, only I see families in distress and not individuals charged with a crime. Sometimes they're the same, especially now that I'm in circuit court dealing with families and divorce cases, and then I jumped onto district court and I'm handling, now I'm far enough from being the prosecutor where if you issue a warrant April 8th and then you're the judge and your name's on the warrant, that doesn't look good. So as of any cases issued after April 8th, I can hear as a judge. So I'm in district court and I'm taking 20% of the criminal cases now, so Judge Barnard doesn't have 100% of them anymore. I'm doing 20% of those, and we're getting those done on Fridays. So sometimes I see the same people in district court as I do in circuit court, and sometimes they don't like my result in district court and they want to appeal, and I kind of joke, well, I'll see you upstairs. No, it doesn't work that way. If they appeal my decision in district court, it's certainly going to go to Judge Holoka, the other circuit judge, so he can review the decision that I make in district court. So it still works out. We have an appeal process. But you know, the sexting issue with kids, the information in here is still very accurate. Kids can consensually have sex when they become age 16. It's not recommended by any means, but that's the legal age of consent for sex. What they don't understand, and they never understand, is that even though they can legally have sex at age 16 and above, if you take a picture of it, a video of it, and you send it out on the internet, until you're age 18, it's considered child pornography. So all of a sudden, you're looking at, if you use a computer, you're looking at a felony. If you're sending a picture to your boyfriend and your boyfriend breaks up with you, what do you think he's going to do when he breaks up? He's going to share it and embarrass you. So we keep telling kids in schools, don't do that stuff. The other one, could your child be using heroin, and prevent prescription drug abuse. Information is in there, it's still very, very current. In fact, not in your packet, I picked up an article from the Wall Street Journal, which is dated August 8th. Heroin makes a comeback. I'm like, look, reading that, like, where have you been? It's been in Lapeer long enough that I've prepared pamphlets and put them out for 2 years. So I'm not sure if they're talking about between 1960s and 70s and now it's making a comeback, or in 2009 it was here, then it left, and now it's making a comeback. But I thought some of the passages in it were interesting to the chamber, and unfortunately the heroin has become way more pure, increasing the risk of overdose, and the purity can enormously vary from one batch to the next. A baggie may be 15% pure one day, and the next day it's 60%, and we've seen it in the Michigan area as high as 80 and 90% pure. So if somebody's using heroin that's 15% pure one day, especially if they're working on that addiction, they're put to jail for a while, they come out on probation, they're clean, they reuse, and if they use something that's 60 to 80% pure, they're going to die. It's certainly like playing Russian roulette. In a small town in Wisconsin, some employees were having difficulty filling positions because so many applicants are testing positive for heroin. In that community, the local Chamber of Commerce in April began assembling a consortium of community organizations to address the problem. Meanwhile, a sharp rise in heroin-related crime had fed a 31% increase in inmate population. So we've also seen that where many employers, in this economy, people can't find jobs, then they go apply for a job and they can't get it because they fail a drug test. So the information in here is still current, the resources in here are still current as far as support systems for people who are trying desperately to recover from addiction. On your table, I did put the reminder flyer that the Families Against Narcotics meets the second Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m., where families of recovering addicts get together, share notes on how they can help support the addict, and the addicts themselves tell stories, their horror stories, and they share the information with each other. And we're hoping that by sharing that information, they have a support system that allow them to get through this. One of the horror stories that I've already seen on the bench is when I look at abuse and neglect in families and we try to support them. I've had 2 children come into court already that were born addicted to methadone. So that means the mother was either using heroin at the time she was pregnant, and I understand, I'm not a doctor, but I understand that heroin turns to methadone at some point as it breaks down, and therefore the baby's born with methadone addiction, or the mother's taking methadone, which quite often they abuse. And the saddest part is one of the cases where we're working with the family, we're trying to get them parenting skills, send them to counseling, doing drug testing. The mother came back for the subsequent hearing where we're trying to do reunification, and we scheduled a hearing. She didn't show up, and I found her name in the obituaries. So it's just sad, and it's one of those battles that I started as a prosecutor, and I think it's evolving for me as a career that, you know, I'm interested in trying to make a difference in our community and try to prevent those types of things from happening in the future. So that's a little bit of a sad note to leave you on when I see I have about a minute left. But coming up, Ann Chapiton with the Department of Human Services. Am I to introduce her? Or? Okay, she's going to come on up and talk a little bit about the landlord-tenant diversion program. Come on up, Ann. We have found that most landlords and tenants think before they can get assistance that there has to be a judgment entered against the tenant, and it's not true. If someone has a summons served upon them, they can get assistance. Many tenants are chronic situations where they're not going to pay the rent no matter what we do. But there's a small population that, say, a single mom who loses her job, who is not on salary and only earns an hourly rate, has to go take care of a sick kid. Then she has to decide between medicine and rent, and our eviction program can help out in that situation.
Thank you. I work with the Department of Human Services, and I was called by Byron a few months ago. He had gone to some of these conferences and these judge class type activities. And Ingham County and Kalamazoo County were in the midst of continuing pilot programs on the landlord-tenant diversion. Now, the Department of Human Services is the social service welfare agency, and every county has one. We're over on Suncrest. Most of our business is food benefits, Medicaid. We also do things called state emergency relief, which includes assistance with heating and with electric shutoffs if a person is eligible. We see low to middle income folks. Over the recession, we saw mostly middle income because the poor folks knew that we were there and they were pretty regular. The middle income folks who lost their job during the recession also lost housing. And when they were renters, they would be evicted and they would disappear, and we would lose folks in our community. If they owned homes, they went into foreclosure. We are now seeing folks that are starting to recover. However, they can miss a rental payment. The apartment complexes or the private individual that owns housing units has to protect the investment. We all know what that means. However, if they've had a good tenant and they're just going through a rough time, they really don't want to go through the eviction, the cleaning, the posting, the re-interviewing of perhaps a worse tenant. Of course, and as Byron pointed out, there are tenants that aren't worthwhile keeping. So at this point, we've set up a program here. We're piloting it and seeing what it looks like. And we get the docket from the county building. We see who we can approach and if the landlord is interested in keeping the tenant. And we have workers there to assist them to apply to see if they're eligible, make sure all the paperwork is in order, and the landlord and the tenant can possibly save that relationship. I believe we had 20 plus on the docket. Not all of the tenants showed up, but a lot of the property attorneys were there. And what we did do is manage to deal with maybe 4.5. But they're in process. It's not we can't render a decision right away, but the decision can come pretty close. So this is why we get the email of the docket ahead of time. So far, so good. We'll reevaluate this every 3 months to see if we want to continue. But it reduces the chaos for our citizens, and it reduces the work and perhaps saves some costs for the landlord.
Thank you, Ann. And the other program I sponsored is the Goals program in the prison. Before I begin that, this is the little pamphlet in your packet regarding the landlord-tenant diversion program. If any of you are landlords, it's a great program because it gets you paid. It gets them through that short term. It saves the community many dollars because these people that get evicted quite often are then homeless, and then they got to seek services elsewhere. And in larger communities, it just costs thousands of dollars to run a shelter. And this is a stopgap measure that saves tons of taxpayer dollars. The Goals program is one of those, it's not a scared straight program as you might think and you've heard of before, guiding our adolescents to live successfully. The prison approached me. Bill Ruhlman is their director over there, and he talked about trying to get some of these lifers something to actually live for in prison. And he found 6 or 8 very, very eloquent, very smart guys that are in prison that are in there, and they're never going to see the light of day. So we went to this pilot program and had a 13-year-old kid from another county and a 15-year-old kid. The 13-year-old kid had a tether on his ankle because he's been beaning in houses. The 15-year-old was in trouble because he was running with the wrong crowd. And these inmates gave very good backgrounds of how they landed in prison, what they did as kids, the mistakes they made. The heart-wrenching part is they're in prison and they said, "You like McDonald's?" And their kids are like, "Yeah, well, here's a picture of the food we eat, and I'll never have a McDonald's meal the rest of my life. You guys like grass and sky and backyard?" "Yes." "Well, here's what we get to see 1 hour a day is the yard at the prison." So those examples, plus one of the other inmates brought in 5 documents. All of them were obituaries or programs from a funeral. He says, "You go to a funeral of your grandmother?" "Yeah." "Well, this happened while I was in prison. My mom died while I was in prison. I didn't get to go to her funeral." So those are things that kind of hit kids. Plus, I like the background of some of them where they are with the wrong crowd when their crime occurs. As you know, an aider and abetter or a conspirator is just as guilty as the main actor. Now, I'm sure these guys are minimizing their involvement in their crimes. But one of them, for example, was involved in heroin. And he came home one day and found his roommate sleeping on the couch and realized that a couple hours later he never moved. He had died of a heroin overdose. So as his story in his life goes on, he pushes a small amount of marijuana. So some guy stole his bag one day and he's going to go get it back. So he's got his buddies and they're going to go get the weed back from the guy that stole the weed. They go to the guy's door and the guy's like, "What do you want?" So he's standing there while his buddy, he says he sees a blur out of the corner of his eye, and his buddy had hit the guy who stole the weed in the head with a brick, killed him. So now he's the guy who went there to get the weed back, and he's in prison for the rest of his life on felony murder as an aider and abetter, even though he didn't throw the brick. So I'm hoping that some of those messages get through to kids who are allegedly running with the wrong crowd, doing petty stuff, and by sending them into the prison with their parents' consent, with the consent of the court, in a controlled environment, that they get to talk to inmates who have made some extremely bad decisions. And these high-risk kids that we see in court every day are currently making extremely bad decisions because they think, and one of the pamphlets I have is distracted driving. Well, a guy who's involved in drugs, a guy who's involved in petty theft, do you think he gives a crap about texting and driving? And do you think we should be concerned about that kid texting and driving? Because we had the first texting and driving death case in our community in the whole state, where an individual was texting and he killed Irene Paquin, an 80-year-old passenger in a car, and it's just a tragedy. She's known as St. Irene to her family and didn't need to die, but needlessly because somebody's texting and driving. So I only mention that because of the risky behaviors that kids are engaged in. Hopefully this message, when they see inmates at the prison who made the similar bad decisions that escalated into horrible decisions that essentially destroyed the rest of their life and the rest of their family's life, they're all talking about to these kids. My mom comes and visits me every week religiously. She's got a minimum paid job, but she puts $20 in my commissary every week. You know, how depressing is that? So those are some of the changes that I'm trying to make a little bit in the hopes that our community continues to be the safest possible community that we can have. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Byron. And thank you, Ann. Our next speaker is our member focus, and that's Penny Clemens. She's with Bishop Kelly School.
Good morning. As you may know, I'm the new principal at Bishop Kelly Catholic School in Lapeer, and I was born in Lapeer. I'm a member of Lapeer for my life. I went to Bishop Kelly as a student from 1st grade through 8th grade. I have 4 children who also have gone to Bishop Kelly. 3 of them have graduated from Bishop Kelly, and 1 of them is still currently there as a 5th grader. Our goal at Bishop Kelly is a pre-K through 8th grade. Our goal is to give kids a faith-based, excellent education. And I can tell you just from my own children, but not only that, from all the children that I've taught there, that our kids leave there very well prepared. Oftentimes when they go to Lapeer East or Lapeer West or to wherever they go, but we know for sure from Lapeer East and Lapeer West that they are able to achieve high honors. You know, they're just so well prepared, just all well-rounded kids. They get to speak at church, so they learn, you know, how to speak in front of people. They learn leadership skills as well as get an excellent education. But at Bishop Kelly, we try to keep tuition low. We want every child to be able to have a faith-based education. So in your packets, I have given you 2 blue sheets of paper. And our annual golf outing is coming up at Lapeer Country Club on September 15th. So I have in here some sponsorship forms. One side shows what our sponsorships are, and the other side is just where you can fill out and get a sponsorship. We do these just, you know, like I said, we want all kids to be able to have that faith-based education, and it helps keep our tuition low. I also have in there a golf outing slip, so if you golf, come and join us. It may be your last time before the cool weather hits. So September 15th at the Country Club. It's $80 per person, and that includes your golf cart, dinner, and it's just really great. And this year doing something new, we have a $25,000 hole-in-one challenge. So come and join us. It should be a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. Okay, our next speaker is Dr. Stephen Sheridan. He's with Ankle and Foot Specialty Clinic.
Thank you. Good morning. I've been in your community for 2 years as a specialist at the wound care center at the hospital. They recruited me to come up, and what I do over there was to take care of referrals from your family doctors when they get into a situation where somebody wasn't healing. And we have a team of 6 doctors right now that are doing that quite well, and I think we've improved our healing rate over there exceptionally. And we got hyperbaric chambers now, and I think we're the real deal. And they encouraged me to open a private practice, and I really didn't want to do that in Lapeer because I've got a private practice in Sandusky and Marlette, and I've been doing this for 17 years. I'm very happy with what I'm doing, but I decided I'm 46, I can do a little bit more work. So we have an office here now in Lapeer, and that's why I want to get involved with you guys and let you know who I am and be a part of a practice in this community and bring regular care, general care, to the community as a foot and ankle specialist. I went to Michigan State, so I spent my time there as an undergrad, and then I did my surgical training in my medical school in Chicago. And I came back and worked for a hospital locally for 7 years, and then I went on my own in 2003. So I've been on my own for 10 years, and I'm a business just like you guys. I understand what you guys go through. I have to do my own payroll. I have to do things like that. So I'm a real person and a real business person too. So I don't farm all my stuff off to somebody else and just make the big dollars like a doctor. I have to go home late and stay up late and still enjoy my family. So some of the things I do for fun is I'm a high school referee in the fall, so the fall's pretty busy for me, and that's a short season, and my wife tolerates it pretty well. So I'm excited about being here, and I'm excited about taking care of you and your family. And if you guys, I left a pamphlet in there with our phone number, and I'm happy to see any new patients that want to see me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sheridan. Our next speaker is Anita Moliterno. She's with Health Alliance Plan. Anita?
I'm going to today, rather than go on and on about how wonderful HAP is where I work, and that's a health insurance company, is to talk to you a little about health care and the new Affordable Health Care Act. You'll hear it referred to as Obamacare. You'll hear it called PPACA, which would be the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. It's coming up soon. If you don't have health insurance, you will be mandated to get health insurance. It will start in October if everything's on time. Myself, I'm not sure that it will be on time, but we're being told that it will be. So the best way to go over this quickly to kind of get you to understand it is this cute little movie I saw. I'm going to play that first. Now that I have a couple minutes afterwards, we can just cover a few other things, okay? Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. I had seen it and I thought, it kind of rolls it all together really quick, gives you just an overview, and you probably have a million questions. So I did bring with me, they're not in your packets, I'm sorry I didn't get them out on time. But if you're an individual or a sole proprietor, I've got sheets on what you need to do because this is all coming up. If you're a small business under 50 employees, I have a paper, it's just like one pager, what to do. And if you're a large employer group or you think you're a large employer group, and there's a lot of details, we could talk for hours on the subject, I have a form for over 50 employees also. So stop over, I'll try to spread them out so you can just take the one that pertains to you. If you have any questions afterwards, I'll stick around. If you want to talk on this more sometime in the future, let me know. Maybe we can get some speakers in and let everybody know what's going on. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sandra Glenn, and she's with the United States Post Office.
Good morning. That's a kind of a tough subject to watch. I know it makes me nervous just watching it. I am Sandra Glenn. I'm the postmaster in Lapeer. I've been there about 14 months now. I did attend a few of the Wake Up Lapeer, but as you know, the post office is going through a lot of changes, and they keep us very busy. They're downsizing, they're getting rid of jobs, so that's basically more work for everybody that's left. So I wanted to bring some information to you today about our new product. Some of you might have heard about it. It's Every Door Direct mailing. There's been some commercials. I know some businesses use it. It's been very popular. It's an easy way for you to come in and bring your mailing in right into the retail office and mail it with a credit card, check, cash, and gets right to the house the next day. Minimum, I believe, is 200. Maximum is 5,000 per day. What I did was I added this little slideshow because it's kind of lengthy and I didn't want to bore you all. And this will give you an opportunity to go through it. And the nice thing about it is the gentleman that put this together also goes onto the website and shows you how to get in and how to use the website. Some statistics on the Every Door Direct is for every dollar spent, $12.57 is back in your pocket. Consumers use coupons. It has gone up 79%. Delivery cost is just 16 cents per piece. If you decide, it gives you an opportunity to decide where you want to mail, because most of your customers are within a 5-mile radius from your business. So you can go onto the website and decide, I want to saturate this neighborhood the next week, and then you can also see if that mailing, it comes in and it's quantifiable where you can see what you're getting back on your investment. And it's very low cost, a few $100s, not including the printing, you can get out and get your business out there. You can do grand openings, you can do coupons. I've got a lot of feedback from companies, and they said out of everything they tried, locally, newspaper and so on and so forth, they've seen the biggest return on that. If you have any questions, I have my business card in there. You can give me a call. My retail clerks are great. I'm sure a lot of you have been in there. I see some familiar faces. They'll help you along. And the bottom line, Postal Service is going to be around for many more years. We're working hard to stay competitive and continue to grow because I think it's an important part of the American history, and it's part of this community. And I see everyone that comes in, they say, oh, I love this post office, I love your clerks, and I do have great people there. So I appreciate the time today, and it's nice to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
I'll get my fingers under it.
Our next speaker is Jack Miles with Bear Graphics.
Good morning. Bear Graphics is a printer promotional products company that services Lapeer County, Genesee County, and northern Oakland County. What's unique about Bear Graphics is specializing in some print products. Examples is a paint company that wanted a door hanger that was shaped like a paint bucket. Very unique and special. The other thing is a bank that wanted counterfeit marking pens that they wanted to give out to their businesses they serve. They needed 250 of them. Bear Graphics can handle that. Last but not least, of the local golf course that wanted a very special menu that was embossed, that looked like a golf ball and folded to be their lounge. Bear Graphics can handle that. In your packet are some real good promotions going on right now for the mid-year. First of all, there is a brochure from Cannon Outback. It's time to start thinking about your corporate gifts for your customers. Very nice leather products here, and it has a great program that can be established. Also, our mid-year release on techie stuff you want to put out and brand yourself with things for iPads, computers, tablets, and get your name in front. Bear Graphics can help you with that. Last but not least, also there is a postcard that on the back of it will give you some outstanding savings. And it isn't a percentage off, it's actually dollars off your invoice once a purchase. And if you have any questions, reference Bear Graphics. There's a real nice brochure of all the products from banking, government work, promotional products is in your packet. So go ahead and take a look at that. So I want to thank you very much for your time. Remember, Bear Graphics is your source for your printing needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, it is time for 50-50. So get your, how much? $30. We have red and blue tickets today. Shake them real good. Dig in the middle. It's a red ticket. 320866.
Who got it? Oh, Bill Simmons, Homemade Remodeling.
Hey,
Excellent.
Good. Okay, do you want to do the drawings?
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do some door prize drawings now. Just a reminder too, anybody, if you haven't gotten your chicken barbecue tickets for Saturday, see Dougie over here from Lapeer Optimist Club. And don't forget all the money that they raise this weekend through all of the events that they produce during the festival. I mean, the festival is a great platform for them for their fundraising activities, as it is for a lot of organizations, but they put a tremendous amount of money back into the community and into programs and things for our youth and sports teams and that type of thing. And we all know if kids are involved in constructive activities, they're less likely to end up in Byron's courtroom. So buy those chicken dinners, go hit the Vegas tent. We got the new bean toss or cornhole tournament thing going on. That's gotten really popular. This is what, second or third year for that? Third year for that. So, and come on down, and don't forget, in addition to supporting, is it Advocacy Center? Literacy Center, sorry. At churches, when that lot's full, don't forget there is parking around the city, but also if you don't want to park downtown, you can park at Lapeer East High School. GLTA, as they always do, they're great supporters. They will be running shuttle till about 7 o'clock Friday and Saturday night. So if you want to kind of park off site a little bit and take the shuttle in, and they'll be looping probably about every 30 minutes to provide that transportation. So come on down, enjoy the festival, and let's get a different one here. Byron, you don't want any chicken tickets, do you? You already got some. We don't want to give you your own door prize, so we are going to give you this door prize from Hap. Oh, not that you had time to go play golf, but got some golf clubs for you and some other nice things in here. I play golf, or golf balls. Oh, I wish there were clubs in here. Sorry. Oh, there's a certificate. No, just kidding. Golf balls for you for out there when you got time to go play golf. So. Okay, so the next one Angie Schleider from Talmer Bank. This is 2 tickets to the Optimist Chicken Barbecue, and these are courtesy of Byron Konschuh. And Anita Malaterno, we have another set of chicken barbecue tickets for the Optimist Barbecue this weekend. Thank you. And this is Barrett from Bear Graphics. This is really kind of cool. This is oven mitt, right? Little pot holder thing. I think this is awesome. Not that I really do a lot of cooking because I don't like to cook, but it's pretty cool. I think it could talk. No. It's really cool. So that goes to Marcia Calicay from Lapeer County Bank and Trust Company. Marcia, do you cook? And the next one, again from Bear Graphics, is a nice little window scraper, and we're not even going to talk about the time of year that we need these. It's too soon, not ready. Sue Peterson, Devonshire Retirement Village, that's for you. And again with the cooking stuff. Anyway, this is from Jack, again, Bear Graphics. It's kind of a neat little measuring cup, and this goes to Bernadette Talaski, Lapeer County Bank and Trust. And now, this I do like, because I love the barbecue. This is a really neat basting brush. It's so cool. I've never seen anything like this before. It's really neat. So that goes to Connie Lapeer, Mott Community College, again from Bear Graphics. Then we have some really neat books here. That these are from the Postal Service. Sandy brought these in. And it's about creative and direct marketing that works for your business. Very nice publication. So these are some really nice books that she brought in. First one goes to Mike Newell from ServPro. So take that, give it to Chris when you get back to the office, right? And then we have another one for Colleen Martin from Thumb Alarm Systems. Colleen, I know you're over there. I heard I see you. There you are. And then we have one for Jack Miles from Bear Graphics. And this is another really cool little thing. So this is a little duster for your computer, Jack. This is really cool. I like little fun stuff like this, can you tell? Okay, and this goes to, who does this go to? This goes to Loretta Denwith, and this from Brown and Kent PC. It's just really neat. I want one of those, Jack. And we have, okay, now tell me about these ink pens. What's stylus pens, so very smooth writing and oh, for tablets. Oh, gotcha.
Very cool.
Pen and a stylus, all in one. This goes to Tim Turkelson, our new Lapeer County prosecuting attorney. That's very cool. So you can use those on smartphones and all kinds of things, huh? Very cool. We have another one, and this one is for Julie Vitale from Priority Payment Systems. Where's Julie? There's Julie back there. And this is a t-shirt from Mott Community College. Oh, look, it's got lots of really cool advertisers and stuff on back. So this goes to, I'll tell you what size this is. This is an extra large. Okay, this should fit you, Joe. Joe Morey, Village Printing. Yay, Joe, this first time in 7 years since I've been director, and I've known you for 20. But it's good to see you here. Oh, they let you out? They let you out of the cage? Is that what it was? And we have another stylus ink pen, and this goes to Commissioner A. Wayne Bennett for you. I got to sit with these really handsome gentlemen this morning. I just was beside myself. Okay, and now the member focus for September. It is a 3-minute complimentary spot on the agenda for next month's meeting. And this goes to Clark Kent from Brown and Kent. And from Bishop Kelly, this is a one-time only hold/tea sponsorship for their golf outing on September 15th. And the information is attached for that, and that goes to Karen Gibbs from Central Michigan University. Karen, where are you? There you are. Okay, so everybody, we'll see you at Lapeer Days. Don't forget to get your chicken barbecue tickets. Come on down for lots of free activities and entertainment, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.